Hello everyone, I hope all are doing great. We've got the FOMC meeting coming up today, and I just wanted to give some views on that and then also try something different by giving some views on some of these, just running through Twitter a bit and looking at what some of the other Twitter influencers are saying and commenting a bit on that. Now, the FOMC meeting is, in my opinion, a bunch of smoke and mirrors. It's really smoke and mirrors in the general sense of the word. Inflation generally goes up when the oil price goes up. Could go into those charts, but I'll quickly just mention that you can even go and look at the 70s where they had Volcker that pushed interest rates up into double digits. Inflation stuck, inflation went up because the oil price was going up and up and up. The oil price then dropped 50% eventually, and then the interest rates came down because everything relies on when oil price goes up, your fuel prices go up, all the transport costs are higher, so prices of commodities go up, up, up. When the oil price comes down, the cost of transport, etc., all of that is cheaper, and the prices can drop again or at least stabilize. So you can go back and look at the 50s. Volcker's rising of the interest rates did absolutely nothing in stabilizing the market. It was when the oil price dropped 50%, then inflation came down. And we've seen this actually recently. Oil price had gone ridiculously low with the COVID crash to zero. Then it spiked incredibly high after that. Inflation then went up. Of course, the money printing also played a role. So that is one where the government can play a role. But increasing the interest rates, all that does is actually damage businesses and damage the individuals in the country, in that they now have to pay a much higher premium on any debt they have, and it causes insolvencies, bankruptcies, houses being repossessed, and as such. And that is no one's benefit whatsoever. And as I say, if they did absolutely nothing, the inflation would have in any event come down once the oil price came down. You can see that historically. So as far as I'm concerned, it's all smoke and mirrors. Last month we had an FOMC meeting where the prices dropped. Oh no, the prices dropped. They dropped with 0.25%. That is supposed to be positive, but anyway, Bitcoin's price dropped. Bitcoin's price dropped because of the charts had reached a certain level, and there is Satoshi era whales that were taking massive profits. They basically sold everything they got in some of their wallets, which is very strange to say the least, that they would now suddenly all start cashing out. So for us to have a continued bull run, they would need to stop selling. They have the power to overpower everything, and if they continue selling like they have been selling, then no matter how much the institutions are even buying, they can overpower them because they paid absolutely nothing for they mined those tokens for basically 0 or cent, and some $100, some are regarded still as those who bought for like $200, but it basically they have more than 1 million tokens in that Satoshi era whales that can be dumped on the market. Michael Saylor can't buy all of that up. They've only got, of all they're buying thus far, I think about 600,000. So that is a serious concern. Who are these individuals? Was it a project created by the government, by the National Security Agency? This Satoshi, is it a big setup for covert operations for the government while the dollar is collapsing? Basically, it is possible. What are they doing with those funds? Is it just covert operations? Are they converting some of it into gold and silver at this point? So there are serious concerns as far as that specifically the Satoshi era whales are concerned. They are actually the problem here. The sales they have made while there was interest and Marcelo, etc., are buying, they are dumping more. They are dumping more, therefore the price is going down. However, the patterns these people follow are quite consistent as far as trading patterns are concerned. And as we've said, we have the long on the 2-day chart, which historically has given us in that time period from where it flashes, which was 5th to the 6th of December, closed on the 6th of December. Usually we will historically take off within basically the next 2 to 12 days from there. That's why I said you must be ready. There's going to be ups and downs with this FOMC meeting. It could be a further pullback. It could take off after the FOMC meeting. Either of that is possible because it's pure manipulation. At the time of the FOMC meeting, most traders will say to you, stay out of trading, especially on leverage those days, because they can do anything. They can just dump it down a bit if they want to. They can pump it up. And whatever Powell says really doesn't matter. They had a rate cut, and then from the rate cut supposed to be positive, as you had the previous rate cut, and then they came up with this stupid narrative that says, oh, now they're uncertain whether there's going to be another rate cut in December, so now that's not positive for the market. Powell's every time going to say he's going to assess before the next meeting what the situation is, how it's going to look. I mean, that's what he's been saying all the time. So he's going to say the same thing again. They're going to reassess. So it is just stupid to go say that that is currently affecting the market. Quantitative tightening has ended. So that is a positive thing. Sometimes it takes a few months for that to work through and become quantitative easing. The stock market is a concern. Looking on the stock market side, the stock market, especially some of the AI stocks, etc., have rallied. Nvidia had rallied effectively more gains than Bitcoin, I do believe. But stock market in general has gone up more than 100%, I think, in the last 3 years, or close to 100%. Once it gets to that 100% level, we have seen stock market crashes in the past. So it could still go up till 8,000. That's what we're hoping. That Bitcoin also catches in. Perhaps quantitative easing come in, and perhaps the dollar starts to collapse with a big sales, and we get a situation where we can have a bull run like we haven't had before. Currently, the 16-day chart has given us the red, and Bitcoin so far, except from getting this bounce that we are expecting, that's 20-25%, has not recovered. But we will deal with that when we get to it. Once it has had that bounce, if it stays above the 2-day level, carries on from the 2-day, then we can have a continued bullish leg, at least, perhaps a blow off top coming in for both the stock market and Bitcoin still. If we fall under that 2-day line, then it's very likely that we're going to have a very, very big downwards crash and a stock market crash. Looking at silver and gold, to come back to silver and gold, or not too back, I haven't discussed it yet. Silver has really taken off. Silver is at $60. It's gone from about $20 to $60, a 300% run. This is also indicative of problems in the stock market and the monetary system as such. When silver has run up that much, let's say we do get the stock market crashing towards 2026, and silver will usually crash as well first, a 50% or even a 60% crash. So silver can crash from $60 back to about $30, and then the real precious metals bull market starts. And if that happens, then Bitcoin would be decimated, and crypto will be decimated as well. So we will have to check if after this bounce we start falling under this lines. This will have to be an exit or a short, because the risks will be very great. But we will be able to look at that and see when we go under those moving averages or indicators. Currently everything is on track for this major pump, and as I say, we can see what happens from there. If that pump continues and goes over and towards new all-time highs, then we're going to get that blue of stock and probably come back to that pi cycle top, which has been an excellent indicator for a market top. I want to look a bit at some of I've given that perspective, which I think you might agree with. Basically, nothing what Powell is going to say today is going to make any difference whatsoever. The charts are saying what the charts are saying. In my opinion, we are going to go up in the next few days. Could have violence, a few percent down because of the FOMC meeting for 1 to 3 days, and then start going up. It's basically irrelevant for our purposes. The charts tell us what is going to happen. Someone move that up there. Some Twitter posts we have here. And here's a comment from Crypto Tony. FOMC today will give us a powerful Christmas holidays and rest of December. Pay attention. Totally disagree. It's going to tell us absolutely nothing. You can make that narrative as you want. Oh, it's positive. The rates have been cut 0.25%. Oh, the market's pumping. They're reacting positive to the news. Oh, it's wonderful. Or, oh, no, Powell said he's going to reassess at the next meeting, so now the market is uncertain. It's absolute crap, people. It's absolute crap. Don't be fooled by them. Was one by Ali charts. Out of the 7 FOMC meetings held so far this year, 6 have led to Bitcoin corrections, with only one producing a short-term rally. So here's a bit of a dump. Is a predominant one after an FOMC meeting, and then we can get a pump after that. Again, that is now not an indication of anything. You can start a rally at the time of just shortly after the FOMC meeting as well. Okay, this is not relevant to crypto. What is this? The last 3 Bitcoin bottoms looked identical. RSI bottom, DSS flipped bullish, then came the pump 174, 85, 48%. The signal just returned. RSI is back at March 2020 levels. This one I do like. This is a useful post. You can see what we have here was an indication of where the RSI had flipped. The thing is, the RSI has not yet flipped, because I can say, look at that one there. Oh, sorry. It's not really letting me touch there nicely. If you look at the chart there by July 2024, you can see there was an upward movement, a downward movement, long consolidation there on the chart, and at above as well, in between. So we could still have that type of consolidation move as well, instead of just having the full run-up. Full run-up is, however, definitely still possible if we can hold above that 2-day of our indicator line. So we're definitely expecting the run-up now. Whether the run-up is going to be that big before we fall down, we'll have to see. Or if it's going to be a continued run-up, we'll deal with that, as I say, when we get above the 100,000s range. Okay, so let's go back there. The market is doing a proper cleansing before the great runs. We're not fully bottomed on alts yet, but we're extremely close. If the bottoming process is measured on a 100% scale, then we're sitting at 91%, waiting for that final phase to complete. Some of the alts, there's always a possibility for the FOMC meeting, there's a dump that some of them could go a bit lower than they've been recently. Some of them appear to already be taking off slightly. And look at Cardano's higher than at the beginning of December. So it might pull back to that beginning of December level. I wouldn't be so certain of that. I did Fed the other day, and the price was 22.65 on the live stream. And I said that for me is a very good, solid entry for a spot entry. There is a possibility that with last little dump it could go lower, but because of the time frame of Bitcoin, going up after that buy signal, you don't want to actually sit on the sidelines, because the converse is it could go up to 25 the next day, and it actually did go up to 25, 26. It's now back 25, 24. It might come back to 22, but the risk of now being out of good performing alts, you'll see what alts are good performing, those that have basically held their prices from November at least. I don't think they are really coming in for new lows. Most of them seems to have made their lows basically in November already, those. Ending 2025 with nothing to show for it. Lost 500k, lost my network, family falling apart, depression, months of coping and disappointment. Lost the most beautiful girl I've ever met. 5 years evaporated. Feels like I wasted everything, and I've become the waste. Aye, this poor guy. Don't be this guy, people. Come join my trading club. That you know got the indicators. Don't throw all your money in the water and then suffer from severe depression. Okay, here we've got breaking. Fidelity is dumping Bitcoin ahead of the Fed rate cut decision. They just sold 22,000 Bitcoin worth $2.1 billion, dumping Bitcoin price down from 94 to 91k. That is pure manipulation. Yes, it's pure manipulation. They go long and then they buy a lot, or they just go short and then sell all this off, so they make a fortune, or their clients make a fortune, because they know they put in orders for these things selling off. It's pure manipulation. Unfortunately, that is part of trading. They do that. Prices would not skyrocket if they didn't go long and buy everything up, but the inverse of that is the same. When they decide they go short, they sell everything off again to make profit on the long and the shorts, and the tokens are actually irrelevant for most of the traders, whatever they are. Breaking. 11 of 12 FOMC members support 50 basis rate cut today. I don't know if this is true at all. Probably not, but if we get a 50 basis point rate cut, then I think we're likely to start pumping shortly, not too long after that, because that would be more than was originally expected, as most are expecting a 25 basis point hike. Zooming out eliminates the illusions created by short-term volatility. Step back and the path looks cleaner. Yes, but you don't want to sit through 50-70% drops. Just to give an example, I mean, Bitcoin went from $20,000 to $3,000. Please, you can zoom out. You had to say, indicator I showed you, you could have sold in the on about 17k and bought back at 3,800. I mean, you could have bought at 5 times more Bitcoin. So that's not always good advice. So I say, hodl, as I say, hodl sucks. You should wear hodl sucks socks. It's a bit of a reference to CTO Larson also said that hodl sucks, and he's right in that regard. Wall Street is building an entire crypto economy. It won't just be Bitcoin. It became evidently clear to me at the conversation I had. Yes, obviously they're going to list a lot of tokens. The more they've got listed, the more fees they can get. Okay, there's something about Binance and CZ, the cryptonomist or cryptomist. Nice upside move today, but I do believe it will be short-lived on Bitcoin. Well, it's pure manipulation on FOMC day, so they could definitely still dump it down a bit, especially before the meeting. If it's going to be positive, they can dump it down after the meeting a day or two still as well. That is not of any concern to us. We know it's going up in the next few days. Again, Bitcoin DXY continues to deliver another rejection. In these 2 to 3 weeks has been nothing but distribution before we take down and take out these fake lows. Okay, let's check if I can see what his chart is saying there. 20 billion Bitcoin on the DXY. How are we expecting Bitcoin to go up? don't see this chart as much helpful. It's only that the DXY is a resistance point there that would have to be broken in terms of that trend line that is there, but that is not an impossible thing to do, although it is quite a long-term trend line, and there are risks, as I said, in the market. We'll deal with that once Bitcoin goes over the 100,000 range. SpaceX has transferred 94,480,000 in dollar Bitcoin to Coinbase Prime today. That has probably been done for custody purposes, like the past transfers. Okay. We hope so that they don't dump it. They say they've been storing that. How anyone at this point could doubt 2026 will be insanely bullish is beyond me. Well, we can't take that as a given. We can't take that as a given. There are serious risks in the stock market, and I don't think Bitcoin is going to pump if the stock market is crashing. So the stock market definitely could have a blow off top, and that could give us a nice run in Bitcoin perhaps still, but there are definitely risks. Bitcoin's dirty secret halving never mattered. After 6 years and 4 halvings, the data is finally conclusive. Every single post-halving rally in Bitcoin history coincided with major central bank liquidity events. Not one can be isolated. Yes, liquidity in general, when liquidity floods the market, things will go up. The halving has definitely coincided with those liquidity events, and basically it comes back to that the halving will not be of much help. Also, if we are having a crisis and you have crashes in the stock market, etc. I'm always bullish, but I know better than to celebrate a green day. We know when Bitcoin is at 150k. Okay, so this guy says he's not gonna worry. Bitcoin is now at 90k. He's gonna wait for Bitcoin to go 40% higher from 90k to 150k, and then you must wake him up and tell him he must buy at 150k. Okay. Yes, that seems logical to sit outside and wait. Miss a run up from 90k to 110k, lose out on all that profit. Yes, that seems wise. That seems wise, not at all. Hey, why would you want to not take 20% profit if you can take it? Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Absolutely no sense whatsoever. What have we got here? Safe to say rate cuts coming tomorrow at a 97% chance for 25% BPS. Over 300 million volume is pretty insane. How long until we just eliminate the Fed and let polling market decide outcomes? And you see polling market saying 25 basis points. So what have we got? I think it's going to be 50 basis points. I think that other previous post said probably not. Polling market usually right. They say all smoke and mirrors, people, all smoke and mirrors. Bitwise CEO says banks with assets in trillion have recently approved their Bitcoin and crypto ETPs for their client. Mainstream investors are coming. Now, this goes into a bullish narrative where we could have a high run-up still with a blow off top. But as I say, we first need to go above the 2 line, go above the 2-day moving averages and stick above them, because if we don't, then you can come up with much narrative. So they threw the whole bear market last time. They said the ETF is coming, the ETF is coming, the ETF is coming. Yes, and Bitcoin kept on dropping while we kept on saying the ETF is coming, the ETF is coming. Okay, so that's the problem with these kinds of posts. You base your investment strategy on that, you're going to have serious problems in the short term, and you're going to end up with probably 2, 3, 4 times less Bitcoin than you could have had, or crypto for that matter. Bitcoin does the 10x in 0.5 the current age. This follows from the Paulo. Expectations is 300k by 2027. So he's got some expected increases. So he says if it's by 2027, Bitcoin is going to hit 300k. Okay, that's interesting. It depends on whether the 4-year cycle has changed. There is a possibility of we not having the deep drawdown, Bitcoin going to 100, 10, 150, coming back to only about the 70s, not coming to a full drop to full. Then consolidating there, we've seen that happen on the SPX, and then from the over a year period or so starting to take off again, and then it's possible that it could do that type of move. $1 million in 2026. Oh, yeah, we're getting. Is he saying Bitcoin is going to be $1 million in 2026? I do not think so. There's some top charts and things that saying, in the 300,000s is likely what was expected for Bitcoin top. Currently, we're under 100,000. I would say that is ridiculous. In any event, Eric Trump buys for 116 Bitcoin worth $58 million. Okay. Eric knows the insiders are going to pump it in a few days. We know it as well because we can see it in our chart. It's given us the indicator. Happy Fed rate cut day to those who celebrate. It's good for business, it's good for individuals. It's very good in that sense. What it's going to do with the market is irrelevant. The market decides what the market's going to do. Charts tell us what the market's going to do. Okay, this one says CZ sold his soul, whatever that was 5 years ago. That bro no longer exists. Enjoy being the elite's exit liquidity. What do you think, guys? Is CZ now become an evil monster? I think he's always been quite a friendly individual in the crypto space. Haven't seen him as an evil force. Of course, with Binance, the selling, but okay, Binance has many whales on them. Is the exchange itself selling, or is it the whale clients of these that are selling? They have biggest market share, so obviously most of the sales are going to come from the whales there. I don't know what was the USDCE debacle. Hang Seng Index. Oh, I'm going to look at that. This hidden bearish divergence could get ugly. Okay, I quickly had to pause there a second. And this one says the hidden bearish divergence. Bitcoin is moving strength on price with weakness on momentum. Forget about that. That's all nonsense indicators, that, guys. All nonsense. One Bitcoin update using TBL cloud analysis. Next resistance fan line at 97.5. Now, guys, if we're going to run up, we're going to run up to 102 on our chart. There's not going to be any resistance at 97. It's going to run up all the way to 102. I'm not saying it couldn't just stop there with a candle and then do that. It's going to run up to that 102. It can come back to 93 from there, and then it should go up over. It's going to go up over 102, 103 again, 208, 110. Okay. Happy FOMC to those that celebrate. No, same nonsense again. Bear markets are downtrends. Downtrends are lower lows and lower highs. By definition, downtrends don't mean down only. They must have rallies to produce lower highs. We call those periods mean reversions or counted. That really gets above the moving averages. Then they are strong that the downtrend is over, but until then, it's bear market price action. Sorry, higher rules. Yeah, can you tell people when is now the time that the price is going to go up like we can with the indicator? And I guess, as we said, it could still fail once it's above that 100,000s and come back down, and could be by my market could have started already. We might not make a new high. The last year of the 4-year cycle is, but just to say, no, it's now a bear market. I'm staying out of it. I'm not going to take any profit if it goes up. I'm going to wait till it goes to 150 like that other guy said. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's 40% higher. The last year of the 4-year cycle is the most bullish for Bitcoin. So yes, this one is, if it's going to be the most bullish, then it will have to run up, because the year's ending in about just over 20 days, isn't it? So it will have to be a massive run up in those 20 days for it to be the most bullish. Definitely, if we have a run in stock market and Bitcoin goes over to new highs, then I'm sure it's going to go into January. So it's actually going to go to the next year. $1 million today, or $1,000 a week for life. That's $4,000 a month. If you invest $1 million, you can get more than that in a month. You don't have to work anymore. But okay, that's not for work. That is you're getting it a week for life. Well, $1,000 in 10 years from now, you probably won't be able to buy bread with it. You look at the devaluation. You get the $1 million today, and you invest it in some solid assets, some commodities, some cryptos, and that you're going to be way better off. That $1 million, that $1,000 a week's not going to buy you a bread in 10 years from now if things are going like they are going. It might get to Weimar Republic stuff by that time. FOMC rate cut decision will happen at 2 p.m. ET today. Market expecting a 95 probability of a 25 BPS rate cut. Powell's press conference will start at 2:30 p.m. ET, which is the most important event. Some banks are expecting a dovish Fed as quantitative easing has ended. With a few are expecting a hawkish Fed, but due to inflation being above the 2% target. All smoke and mirrors, people, all nonsense, absolute nonsense. As I said to you earlier, they can just word it. The market goes down, they say, the Fed was a bit too hawkish. He didn't say he's going to cut another 0.5% in January. Nonsense, people, absolute nonsense. Every dip shows how fast people run away, but leaving now makes no sense. It's like wetting the internet right before everything exploded. Yes, leaving the market just before the dot-com bubble collapsed. It was a great idea. It was not a bad idea. And then buying back in at the bottom. So, but definitely, he says stay a bit longer. I agree with that, because we know the pump should be coming soon. Don't confuse activity with progress. That's Steve from Crypto University. Not sure what he means by that. Confuse activity with progress. Well, I suppose if you're doing all the wrong trades, that's not going to be progress. It's going to be activity, but it's not going to be progress. The Fed has been behind the curve for years. They incorrectly claimed that inflation was transitory in 2021. They bankrupted banks by raising rates after saying they wouldn't, and now they're ignoring the incoming deflation. Cut rates, stimulate the economy. Absolutely agree with that. Every single of these stock market crashes is actually caused in general by the Fed, or they make it worse. They In general, they should have raised the interest rates a little bit probably earlier when they saw there was inflation, if they wanted to raise them. But the best would have been if they did absolutely nothing. Inflation would have gone up until the oil price came down, and then it would come down. It's 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 the biggest fake. It's the biggest. Uh, I don't even want to know what to call it. It enables the housing market, because eventually the housing market collapses because of high interest rates and prices drop, which they say is then good, but all these people going bankrupt. Eventually the market would have sorted itself out. Once house prices go down, nobody's going to buy them anymore. Nobody's going to buy them anymore. Or they might move to another area where houses are cheaper. Or market will sort itself out over time. Also, demand for housing could actually drop if the population drops. This is where places like Japan, where they say there's an aging population, it's wonderful. It's wonderful because there's going to be more houses than there are people. So people will be able to afford to get a second house. Doesn't mean the housing market will necessarily collapse, but some of these narratives. But as far as the Fed's concerned, they do nothing but cause bankruptcies. That's all they do. Damage the economy, damage established businesses that have been operating for many years, and there's no benefit. There's no benefit for anyone in that. New high made, and Bitcoin is turning the 1993 into support again ahead of FOMC. It could just fall during the FOMC meeting. We are in the time period where it could also increase. So that's not saying much. Still moving according to plan. The louder people get on the bottom is the narrative. The harder we will fall once we retest 95 to 100k. If we even get there, we're going to get there and we're going to go above that as well. So far, it's just a dead cat bounce. No, this guy can't read it. He's just making funny drawings here. He hasn't looked at the historical patterns of how high we do go when we have a reversion. If you invested $10,000 into silver 45 years ago, you would have $9,850 today after tax. No, silver was very high. It's basically made a 40-year low. So yeah, over the last 40 years, silver was not a good investment. But it probably, if we have a stock market, it's gonna run. It's gonna run like mad. It's a real commodity. It's a real asset. It's going to run, people. It's going to run. It's probably going to drop to $50 and then run to $300. That's if we get a stock market crash. If I put $100 into Bitcoin in 2010, I've had 2.8 billion now. Yes. You mine it for basically for free, then you would have it as well, which is the problem because those Satoshi whales are selling now, and they were insiders of this thing, I believe. Now he says if you bought 100 of Bitcoin and watched it go to 1k, 100,000, 1.7, did nothing, then watch one, still did nothing, then watched, and still did nothing. Yes, that is so, but if you sell that to $1,000 when it went to 1k and you bought back at $200, you would have 5 times more Bitcoin. Then you would have had 500k on the next one, and then from the next one, when it fell from 20k to 3k, you could have 6 times more Bitcoin. So That would be like over 10 million then. So if you try, just did exits when you needed to of your indicator, we've showed you the difference between the ape line and the Larsen line. You would have way more, like about 20-50 times more over that time period. Bitcoin has Michael Saylor, Ethereum has Tom Lee. Tom Lee, yeah. I wouldn't say much. He's the favorite to bring in on TV when the top's already in. So the fact that Tom Lee's on the TV is extremely worrying to me personally. Because Tom Lee, he was calling for the last cycle also. 100,000 before December and all these things. Then it stopped there at 60 something thousand. And it was going down already 40k, and he's just calling, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up. No, it wasn't. Stay in it long enough and the market eventually pays rent. The stock market crashes sometimes takes like 6-7 years just to come back to where it was pre-crash levels. So no, not at all. Not at all. You might be dead before then, depending on your age. I mean, what was the Nikkei? Nikkei was in the 1980s. It only came back now, a few years back. It took like 40 years to get back. Most people who bought in their 40s, they're dead. Never paid them rent. So be careful. You can't just sit and watch everything go down 90%. Bitcoin unbalanced volume shows a very different picture to the pump in November. He's got a little breakthrough there, but yeah, as we said, it's going up now. It's going up. How far it's going up, that we'll have to see. We're expecting at least 20% before. It's either got to make a decision to go to new highs or then to break back down and continue a bear market. $686,000 versus 125 million. This is extinction level of bad. There's going to be cheap properties in Japan, people. Lots of cheap properties in Japan. The kids there are going to be able to buy houses for cheap. It's much better. They don't need employees. There's going to be AI robots doing everything. Japan is sorted. Don't worry about Japan. They just need those robots to come in now. For the past 2 weeks, I'm in the UAE, all over the CZ, Binance, and Sailor. Ugh. Now, what is Sailor? Sailor, is he now the god of Bitcoin with MicroStrategy that always buys when the indicators are showing you must sell, they're still buying, being like sort of the hero. Yes, I don't know. You could have bought a lot more Bitcoin at $17,000 if you wanted to get the best returns for his company holders. Doesn't seem like they are buying in terms of any pattern where you would expect a large company like that to be buying to get maximum profits for the investors. So I don't know, can they even, who are the analysts, what's going on? Why are a lot of their buys are horrific buys? Anyway, and what about when on charts Ethereum is doing better, when Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum dominance has increased and you get a better return from Ethereum from $1,000 to $3,000, why wouldn't you buy some Ethereum? I don't know. Bitcoin is a vehicle that transfers wealth from the impatient to the patient. Well, so far, you can say from that. the money printing continues. But we don't want to get in a situation where stock market crash and Bitcoin crashes 90%, and it takes several years to recover. In that case, it would have been better to take your profit, and you've made your profit, and you don't have to be impatient for so many years. It's not a good investment strategy. There's one saying, long invest for the people in the back, those who didn't think we'd get a seasonal weakness. I haven't cried their little hearts out when I did come, and they were right. This is the final rally. The market will go higher before a collapse. This is not bullish. It's giving you one more chance before you get wiped out because you haven't prepared. This is entirely possible. It's entirely possible that this last run up of about 20% we could fall under, and the bear market could continue. It is, however, entirely possible as well that it could continue up from there. The odds are actually in favor of a continued bear market for Bitcoin, or that we will at least come back, perhaps not as low as previously, but to 75 or thereabout, after we've reached that 110 target about. But as I say, it's pure speculation still. I think there is a reasonable chance of a longish consolidation at these levels as well. But let's see. Crypto has surprised us many times that it's possible it can go to the 110, and then suddenly it goes to 112 and 15 and 20 and 30 and 40 and 50, 150, 160. We should just sit out and sell the top of, say, sell at 110 now. After this up run, I will have to wait and see a bit there. If it falls down again, we might sell a bit lower than that, but the risk of being left behind is there. Blow off tops are still possible, although the chances are less. It's definitely not the usual pattern you get here. Fed will not cut rates tomorrow. Odds are now. People are just putting up lying posts here. Now the odds are now 89. We'll just see what Polymarket says on that previous post. This is nonsense. People are just posting some things for, looks like, attention seeking. Guys, this video I'm going to make probably an hour long, so I'm nearly finished. I'll have another smoke while I'm going through this. When I get some viewing time up on the channel, I thought it might be a bit interesting to just give some views, read all the stuff that people are saying, give my thoughts on it, and I hope you're enjoying it a bit. Please look at joining Ape Trading Club. You need your Ape Trading Club NFT to be able to join Ape Trading Club Discord. There's exclusive membership information that I'm giving in there. There's a project that has an industry leading founder. It is a project that I believe will be revolutionary. It has a low market cap. It's still under the radar. I don't know why it hasn't been picked up by most people. I believe that token is going to be a 100x token over the next 3-4 years, and you need that information. You should want that information. You only need Ape Trading Club NFT. There's still for sale for under $100. So really, come in. Think of Market Snipers community. Join this community. You've got to pay $10,000. Here you can still get in for under $100. It is ridiculous, actually, but it takes time to get something new started. And I'm not doing marketing as such other than the YouTube channel. Ape Trading Club is my project, so I hope to see you there. I think it's if that one token does do as well as expected, that alone would have made it over many more times over than what you're gonna be paying for your App Trading Club NFT. NFTs are tradable, they can be sold, they might increase in value, they might decrease in value, but you're getting a membership. If you pay a membership to Crypto Sniper of $10,000, you can't sell it later for any amount again. It's just personal. This NFT you can even sell some. Probably a good idea to get more than one NFT. It might be a good idea, it might not. It's up to you, because you can trade it if you want to trade it perhaps later. Perhaps it goes up in value, perhaps it doesn't. I can't make any promises in that regard. Okay. Let's look at this place. BlackRock had deposited 202.77 million worth of Bitcoin into Coinbase today. 1 hour ago. Oh, yeah, so they're going to dump probably by the FOMC meeting the next day or so. Then they might go long after that and start pumping it again, buying back up. Total manipulation between selling while they're shorting and longing, or perhaps not them, their clients, but yeah, you know what's going on here. Call me crazy. Just had to pause there quickly again. This Alex Becker, actually. Alex Becker is well known. I think he's got more than 1 million followers. He keeps on telling people to buy gaming coins, when gaming coins were at the top, and now they're 90% to 99% down, and he told people to buy every time they fell like 20-30%. So I think most people are not so happy because he's telling them now it's going to go up, but the followers are already 90% to 99% down. So even if it goes up now 100% or 1,000%, in most cases they're not even going to break even. So he didn't expect this type of market for alts as we've had. We've only had a few alts going down, and that was in the period where people were expecting them to go up, going down 90%, 99% of those gaming tokens. Most of them have also not performed with the games as they had promised in the first place. The games, in many cases, never even came out, or watered down versions came out, and a lot of other nonsense as well. You can't blame, but even with the good games, they've just kept on dumping due to a lack of a specific economy in that game. There are certain games that definitely can have a good economy, and that can over time grow and become a proper, like, world economy. I'm thinking of these games where you build the castles, etc., those things. Those they could have done way more of the land parcels and giving income for the landowners, and some of them, but they didn't. I would say some of those game developers and some of those games simply too greedy. They're not giving the percentage of profit to those land parcel holders that they should have had from the coins being used to upgrade troops, Those are examples where we could create a real world economy between people, and they didn't do enough, especially from the land side of it. $60 on silver. Book Lucas trade of the year easily. Yes, silver's been doing very good. Parabolic phase, and very likely top by end of year, January. See, $80. Yes, that would correspond with also perhaps we get a blow off top in the crypto still, although the likelihood of that is, as I was saying, of course we had the 16-day red is on the negative side, but silver could still run up a bit, and if we would end up getting a stock market crash in 2026, but let's hope we get a bit of a blow off top in the stock market. Bitcoin can still do an unexpected blow off top, and we then come into territory where the stock market could perhaps have a crash. Silver is going to pull back heavily, perhaps to $30, and those types of things. These are all on the cards. We've got to watch the charts. This time it's pure speculation. The stock market crash is a real risk, at this point historically when it's run up that 100% in 3 years. And we're something like 90% now. So there is possibility of another 8-10% run. But we're in as an extreme danger zone historically taken in. Perhaps stock market goes to 112% this time. We'll have to see. We must watch our indicators. Yeah, we've got Ted pillows. Bitcoin's back into the 92 to 94 resistance zone. If Bitcoin breaks above it, rally towards the 100 would happen. A rejection will result in a retest of the 90 level again. Well, 92, 90, it's irrelevant. We're going to run up to over 100. We know that they don't. And we know more or less that it's happening in the next few days already. They run up. Major US banks issuing credit against Bitcoin. They're going to liquidate those people. Not to say they don't. They can always liquidate them. You can see this on the exchanges. It's not like Binance won't borrow you the money because they believe Bitcoin is going up forever. Bitcoin has a 20% pullback. People who did 10 times long, they're all liquidated. They just take all your money. So I wouldn't say that argument holds up. Why is every crypto bro 28 years old? I don't think that's true. I've seen a lot that are younger and older. Oh yes, Peter Schiff. He's having a field day with gold and silver going up. Taking crazy to a whole new level. Saylor claimed that he can magically take digital capital, use it to issue digital credit, and turn it into digital money that can be deposited to bank accounts to pay a risk-free 8% tax-deferred perpetual return with zero volatility. Now, look guys, for Saylor's system to work, Bitcoin, I believe, needs to go up. Can he get through a bear market? He's done it before. Can he get through a 90% crash in Bitcoin if we have like a terrible stock market crash and Bitcoin does do that? I'm not sure if he would survive that. We know he basically lost everything in the dot-com bubble as well. So is history going to repeat itself? We need Bitcoin to run higher and do a top. If it then drops from there, then it's probably going to be fine. It's only if we get a bigger pullback with a much bigger crash in both stock market and Bitcoin, then people are expecting that. I think Saylor will get serious problems, and every other company that is not one of the big ones is going to have problems as well. As I say, there's some dead companies. They're not making any profits, but their prices have just been hanging on those market caps or even going up. But there's no basis. Those zombie companies, they will have serious problems. They are going to be decapitated, those zombies, and they're going to finally die. And this is where the worry comes in. The effect that has on jobs, etc. If that happens. I'm still worried about this rising wedge on Bitcoin. Forget about it. Okay. Let's do this one. Anyone that has been following me all these years will know I built these indicators to help us take the emotional. So 5 waves up in last year. Now we are seeing the loss of the event. Last time we saw that was in 2021. Yes, as I said to you guys, we've got red on the 16 days, so we're going to have to see when Bitcoin gets to about 110. It will need to hold. We'll need to hold around there. It need to stay above those moving averages and carry on up if we have any hope of a blow off top. It starts falling under there. The probabilities are that it is a bear market and Bitcoin's going to 50k, under 50k perhaps even. Okay, it's also consolidation possible. We see that it only goes to about the 70s. We'll have to look at the charts again when Bitcoin crosses about the relevant indicator and moving averages lines that we have set up. I've shown you how accurate those are in the previous videos. You can check the lowest line comparison video. Okay, and then we have the great Martis. Oh, he's got some negative comments. Let's usually I'm seeing what this one is. He says, let's cut rates, laugh out loud. Guess what's coming? As mentioned a few days ago, it would be extremely unwise not to pay attention to yields. Bond yields are breaking out from the sea to shining sea across the globe. Pays to pay attention. This actually is a good comment by him. The fact that the 10-year bond is starting to go out. This is typical thing that happens when you get a big stock market crash, and we're on that level of the high rate. So I think we could still have a big stock market crash. We could have a big crash in Bitcoin. We're going to have to be careful. There is a lot of danger signs that weren't present in, say, the previous bull run. Binance dumping millions of Bitcoin in. I don't think it's Binance. It's probably Binance clients that are dumping millions. Why else? Is it Binance themselves? Well, whether it's them or some other whale. The big problem is the Satoshi era whales. Yeah, I can tell you that. Not Binance. The Satoshi era whales who are selling like the price of Bitcoin is not going up, because why would they be selling? Why would they be selling so much if it's not at 125 there? If they don't expect it to go higher than that, well, perhaps they're going to buy back, but they don't seem to be. These Satoshi era whales just seem to be selling off, but perhaps they're buying back, yeah, and perhaps from the 80s again at lower prices. Let's hope they're trading it, and it's not just government set up for covert operations, which it seems more likely to be, actually. So it's just being sold over. They're not buying back, they're just cashing out. So there are danger signs, but we're still on track, as I say, for our big pump, because we have that buy signal where it then converts once it's gotten past those moving averages and our indicator line comes back down, then it's time to exit. I've done some previous videos about it. You guys will know what I'm talking about. Okay guys, I wanted to do an hour video, and I think we've gone through enough things here. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great weekend and you're ready for that FOMC meeting, knowing that it's all smoke and mirrors. Have a great one. Get your Ape Trading Club NFT. See you in Ape Trading Club Discord. Have a great day. Also, you can join Ape Trading Club. It's not just for crypto. We'll have a look at whether it's commodities you want to look at, whether you want to look at stocks, everything else. Have a great day.